One's ready. One's ready. Go! So you guys are going into special warfare assessment selection. It is an attributes-based selection model. What does that mean?
Guys, are we running right now to get fitter? Are we practicing running? Practicing.
Right? I can't freaking...
So there's a holistic picture that we're looking for. The instructors are giving you input, and we're expecting an output. And everything is for a reason. If you guys haven't heard my spiel yet, everything that we do, every single exercise, has a connection to the job that you're trying to do. We don't want people at INDOC, Special Warfare Assessment Selection, whatever they're gonna call the new course when it inevitably changes somewhere down the road. I don't care what they call it. What I need is you to show me the raw materials for the things that I wanna build you into. Just like everything else, it's a crawl, walk, run.
I'm running keys just like this. All the way to ATC, you never quit. All the way to ATC, you never quit.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. This is your daily drop for the 21st of August, brought to you by Tasty Gains. If you guys haven't checked these guys out, tastygains.com gets you creatine, and it's been lab tested, third-party lab tested. They have another one that's due out, and they passed. They actually have more in it than what they advertised, not by like a massive margin or anything like that, but it is more than what you would expect. But 3 gummies daily is the recommended dosage, which ends up being 9 grams. That's what they recommend. I'm a 12 to 15 kind of guy, right? So these are strawberry creamsicles. The ones I have downstairs are the pineapple mango, and then there's like a blue raspberry or something like that. They're phenomenal taste, and they also have hydration stuff, pre-workout stuff, and nootropic stuff. No promo code required. Tastygains.com. Check those guys out. All right. Oh, before I get into it, also, we still have slots available for the Nashville Operator Training Summit happening 25 and 26 October. Dude, it's going to be amazing. We've got a great pool. We're going to have a ranch that we go work out on. At least that's the plan right now. My last ranch I had actually fell through, so I'm not in scramble mode, but I'm working to get another one. So actually, this is a great opportunity. If you happen to be in Nashville and you own some property, like a good amount of property, or you know somebody, or you have a family friend or something like that has some property, let me know. JARED@onesready.com. Also, if you're interested in joining the Operator Training Summit, you can also email me there and I'll get you the details and get you added to it. All right. On to the joint news. U.S. allies fly in formation over Riga. A U.S. Air Force B-1 Lancer, an allied fighter aircraft, conducted a formation flight over the Monument of Freedom in Riga, Latvia, showcasing transatlantic readiness and cooperation. The flyover was coordinated with NATO partners to reinforce alliance unity. All right. Riga is awesome. If you ever get a chance to go to Latvia, Lithuania, or Estonia, go. It's a great time. Great people over there, and great city. I just, Eastern Bloc, the Baltics, like they're fun. They're a good time. And you know what's crazy is, if you didn't know this, they're massive into basketball. Like, you know how we take in the US, we take football, baseball, basketball kind of seriously. It seems like mostly it's NFL now, but that is their sport. Yeah, okay, they have soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, right? But they love basketball. Like, everything stops when they're professional basketball plays. So, and they're really good. All right, next. White House mulls U.S. air support for Ukraine security assurance. Military planners from the U.S. and Europe are exploring options short of ground troops, including providing air defense systems and air support to bolster Ukraine's future security arrangements. These discussions reflect intent to support Ukraine without deploying American forces on the ground. Yeah, I mean, every time I think that we're kind of getting towards the end of this, something else happens and we end up getting pulled back in a little bit more. And there's been recent talks between President Trump, Putin, Zelensky, all those European leaders, which don't believe the news because they've been skewing a whole lot of stuff. But we'll see. Whether it's right, wrong, or different, America has definitely learned a lot, especially when it comes to drone and counter drone stuff in the Ukraine conflict. I'm not saying that it's right that we, as in NATO, US, UK, Germany, and so on, kind of allowed this to happen, but we definitely learned a lot from it. All right, Air Force news: historic tanker sortie execution in Guam. The U.S. Air Force Air Mobility Command. Sorry, I'm just getting back from lunch with my wife, and that Smashburger is sitting heavy. Yeah. All right, U.S. Air Force Air Mobility Command orchestrated a complex, large-scale deployment by launching a 10-ship tanker sortie within 24 hours from Andersen Air Force Base, Guam, highlighting operational agility and joint force coordination. Boy, that gives zero details in what is considered large scale. Are we talking about a four aircraft, or are we talking like 15 aircraft? It doesn't say one. Oh, wait a minute. It freaking did say it. 10 ship tanker sortie within 24 hours. Okay, well, I'm an idiot. 1, 2, I told you that Smashburger is hitting heavy. 3, right on to the staff, the planners that did it, the crews, and the maintainers. Keying in on the maintainers that made this happen. So good on you. All right, next, senior civilian leader exits in Pentagon IT shakeup. Sharon Woods, longtime executive and legal counsel at the Defense Information Systems Agency overseeing enterprise communications and infrastructure, announced her departure, signaling leadership changes in DoD IT management. Cool, Sharon. Next, $490 million contract award for UAS, unmanned aerial system, and counter unmanned aerial systems. The Air Force Research Laboratory awarded a large contract to Trust Automation Inc. to develop unmanned aircraft systems, or UASs, and counter-UAS capabilities, facilitating rapid prototyping, testing, and transition through 2030. Good, because when it comes to acquisition, research and development, prototyping, testing, because before we are able to actually fly something, like no kidding, operationally, we have to test it, we have to field it, we got to get approval and all that kind of stuff. Like it's a long, laborious process, right? So the more that we can cut the red tape and the bureaucracy when it comes to acquisitions and testing and stuff like that, the better. All right, Air Force backs $1.25 million human AI collaboration project. That seems like that seems really low. 1.25 million. The U.S. Air Force committed to $1.25 million to fund a human artificial intelligence collaboration initiative with the California tech firm, aiming to enhance operations and decision making in complex environments. Listen, $1.25 million is a lot of money to anybody, right? Except for a couple people, But when it comes to DoD spending, like this isn't even budget dust, right? This is like a massive lake, and you take a bucket and you dump it in, like to a massive lake. That's what $1.25 million is to the DoD. I would think that they would put more money into that, especially if we lose the AI game to China. It's not great. It's real. Whether you believe in AI or not, or you're scared of AI, or you embrace it, early adopter, that kind of thing, you cannot deny, and you've got to acknowledge that if China beats us in AI, we are effed. Okay. All right. Next. First National Signing Day for Air and Space recruits held. Future airmen and guardians from high schools nationwide participated in a National Signing Day ceremony on Capitol Hill, marking their recruitment through the delayed entry program and reinforcing public commitment to service. Cool. Good on them, man. That's awesome. They'll probably remember that for the rest of their life. It's not many people that get to go do their signing on Capitol Hill. All right. Space Force news. The X-37 Bravo spaceplane prepares for its 8th mission. The United States Air Force, or the United States Space Force, rather, in partnership with the Air Force Rapid Capabilities Office and SpaceX, is finalizing preparations for the launch of the 8th X-37 Bravo orbital mission, advancing experimental reusable spacecraft capabilities. Satellite communications hardware contract. Oh, sorry, I went right into the next one. All right, so now we're going next. Satellite communications hardware contract announced. Mercury Systems entered into a production agreement to supply hardware for the Space Force Satellite Communications Initiative, strengthening future network resilience and capabilities. I wonder if that has to do with, so you've got Starlink, but then there's also, was it Star Shield or Shield Link, something like that, which is the DoD military. This might be something completely different from it. But anyway, next, Space Force demonstrates protected tactical waveform technology. The U.S. Space Force successfully demonstrated its protected tactical waveform, an anti-jam communication protocol enhancing battlefield communication security in contested environments. So I wonder what kind of waveform that is, because you've got different waveforms now. If you're in that kind of world, then you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say TSMX, mesh networks, self-healing mesh networks, Link 16, Link 11, MATL, all those kind of things, right? They all mean different things, and they all do different things. So I wonder what waveform this is, or if it's a brand new one that hasn't been fielded yet. Obviously not, since they're kind of testing it, but I wonder how it compares to that and what's different, because the thing about it is that when you start fielding new technology, which is fantastic, right? We all want new technology, but we spend, I'm going to say billions on different radios and different capabilities. And then when the next thing comes out, if those radios aren't able to be updated, or it's not as easy as a software update, then you're talking about fielding all new radios for the force, and it's very, very expensive. All right, next. Budget plan emphasizes weapons, envisions civilian job cuts. That's a weird title. Both the Air Force and Space Force drafts FY26, fiscal year 26, budget proposals prioritize investments in the new weapons and advanced technologies while reducing civilian staffing levels to reallocate resources towards modernization. So what that says to me and is that if we can get rid of the civilians, then who are the roadblocks, then we can modernize quicker. And the reason why I say that is because historically, many government civilians have been seen as roadblocks for things. And I say that because it's been true. Now, that's not to say that every government civilian is that, of course not. But government civilians and active duty also know that we are temporary, as in the active duty folks are temporary. When you get a commander that comes in, they know that, hey, I've got 2 years, and this commander wants to come in and make these changes and force me to work or do that kind of stuff. I can probably just wait this commander out and I'll be just fine, and I won't have to do what we're talking about. Or the other side of that is you get a retired whatever, right? We'll just say a retired combat controller that happens to become a government civilian dealing with things within Air Force Special Warfare. I'm literally making this up as I go, by the way. And they've been retired now for 20 years, right? They were a combat controller before GWAT, right? Before 9/11. So everything that they did beforehand was not JTACkery, not direct action. I mean, yes, there was some of that, right? But not at the extent that it is now. And those guys being in a position that's a GS 13, 14, 15, or an SES, and at a special operations command or an Air Force special operations command or a air combat command or anything like that, and they sit in these seats and they just block things that come up to them either make happen or be a champion of or whatever. And they do that because they're like, hey, when I was out in Iraq in 93, I didn't need that. So you guys don't need it. And they're just really outdated and that kind of stuff. So that is the other type of civilian that we get. But then we also get civilians that are fantastic and they bust their ass and they also are serving their country, even though, you know, they're not wearing a uniform. They're wearing a suit and a tie and that kind of stuff. But those are also the other kind of civilians we get. All right, next, General Dynamics to receive sole source tracking layer contract. Space Force plans to award General Dynamics a sole source contract to develop ground segment systems for the tracking layer of the proliferated warfighter space architecture, enhancing missile detection and space domain tracking. Okay, don't know what that is. All right. Next, these are of interest. Ex-Space Force analyst sentenced to teen shooting case. A former Space Force analyst, Orest Schur, received a combined 54-year prison sentence after being convicted of second-degree murder and attempted murder for fatally shooting a 14-year-old in July of 2023 in the incident deemed vigilante violence. WTF. First, I haven't heard of this at all. Second is, I don't know anything about it, so I'd have to dive into it. But like, geez, man, vigilante violence. Can we, apart from this though, can we not all agree that there is a place for vigilantes? There are, like, I fully believe there's a place for vigilantes, especially if you, never mind, I'm not going to say it because then I'll get myself in trouble. But I believe that there's a place for vigilantes. What do you think? All right, supply chain security faces tech threats. A paper published by the Defense Logics Agency, DLA, raised concerns about vulnerabilities posed by Internet of behavior, data generated by individuals' online actions, my online actions, and called for careful use and policy guardrails in defense supply chains. Next, AI data platform faces setback amid budget cuts. Defense One reported that the DoD's AI office scaled back expansion of ADVANA, the department's intelligence-driven data analyst platform, following funding constraints. The decision underscores shifting priorities and financial pressures on critical AI infrastructure. All right, last, and this is just of interest, if you will. I don't know. This got thrown in there, and I decided to keep it. So, if you've watched the first Top Gun, before Top Gun became a blockbuster, the real-life hero, Christine Fox, a pioneering naval analyst, served as the inspiration for the character Charlie, Tom Cruise's love interest and instructor at Top Gun. Her career later took her to become the most senior woman in the Pentagon. So, right on, Christine Fox. Congratulations. That's awesome. All right, everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We do appreciate you guys being here. I just got done having lunch with my wife, but before that, knocked out a members live, took some questions, got a little bit ranty, but I tend to do that recently. I don't know why what's going on with that. Maybe I'm just a little bit more passionate about things, but yeah. Anyway, appreciate you guys being here, and we'll see you later. See you.